everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Welcome to my basement, my makeshift practice, but you can practice anywhere. So before we get started today, I just want to cover a few things, creative ways to use props at home if you are practicing at home. So a couple suggestions. If you have yoga blocks, great. Feel free to go ahead and grab them. And then we'll use a strap today. If you don't have one, no big deal, but things that you can use instead might be a belt. If you have a strap that holds your yoga mat together, that's also really great that you can use. But if you do have a yoga strap, go ahead and grab that too. And a couple options for blocks. So if you don't have blocks and you like to use blocks, you can use a really thick book like a textbook or maybe a Webster's dictionary sized book, or even a stack of books would be fine. I also have these jars which I can set my hand on if I need to. A water bottle can even be used. So just a few things. If you are practicing from home and you like to use props, get creative. There's no right or wrong. Maybe you'll find something even better that you like to use. Listen to your body as we practice today. There will be options offered for the poses. You're in the comfort of your own home, so you can really honor your own body and listen to yourself and benefit the most from this practice. So getting started in a seated position. If you have a cushion, you can sit on that. Also, if you have a blanket, I really suggest using one. Sometimes it's nice to use on the knee, for under the knees, or if you want to prop your sits bones up a little bit, that can be really nice. So all of those things being said, go ahead, pause the video, grab what you need, what you think you might need so it's nearby. You can place them at the front of your mat. You can place the blanket to the side of your mat. And let's begin. Taking one really nice deep inhale through the nose and exhaling out the mouth. It feels so good. Let's do it again. Inhale through the nose and exhale. One more time. And as you exhale, feel your body just release. The shoulders lower down away from the ears. The tailbone is heavy. And the chest has a slight lift. And the chin is slightly tucked. And you can close your eyes to go within. Resume a normal breath, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And just noticing where you are right now. And giving yourself permission to be there. This is your practice, your journey, and your time for yourself. As you breathe, feel the stillness of your body settle in. Feel the crown energetically reaching tall, while the tailbone is heavy. And the hands are just resting on the legs effortlessly. And now notice as you begin to inhale and exhale, as your chest rises and falls. Even the shoulders gently rise with the inhale and release down with the exhale. Here we're practicing stillness with movement of breath. As we practice today, I invite you to consider the stillness that you have within as we find movement. Take one more breath. Just being. And begin to flutter open your eyes or maybe gaze over your cheeks at the floor below you. And bring your hands to heart center. And inhale. Reach your arms up overhead and exhale. Lower them down. One more time. Let's inhale, arms up. And exhale, hands through heart center. Let's do it again. Inhale, raise the arms. And exhale, lowering down. Scoop up that energy. And draw it down to your heart. And you can remove your blanket or your cushion if you're using that and set it aside. And then we're going to come to the front of your mat. And you may very well like a blanket underneath your knees. So feel free to grab that. If you don't have a blanket, a towel, it can also be really nice. But set your blanket down on the mat. And let's come to Virasana. So on the knees, the toes can be tucked or they can be tops of the feet down to the earth. If you'd like a little stretch in your feet, I do suggest tucking your toes, and you can gauge how much pressure you'd like on the feet, on the toes. If this is hard on your knees, you can also rise up on your knees. That's an option. Or you can place that blanket for a little bit of space between the backs of the legs and the backs of the and the calves. Roll the shoulder blades back and down, and again, let's inhale, reaching high, and exhale, audible sigh release. Let's do that again. Inhale, reaching up, and exhale, letting go. And walk your hands forward, coming into a table position. So in table, let's have our hands take the look of starfish. So they're nice and wide underneath your shoulders, and your elbows are slightly bent. Your toes can be tucked or not. That's your choice. And we want the knees to be under the hips. Engage your shoulders so that you're strong through your shoulders and pressing into the hands. Really press down into that L shape of your thumb and pointer finger, and also press down in that pinky so you can almost feel like a marble space below the center of your palm, protecting your wrists. The neck is long, an extension of the spine, and your gaze is slightly in front of your fingertips. So this is a place we can come back to throughout our practice, checking our alignment. Inhale through the nose, and now as you exhale, send your right foot back behind you, flexing the foot so the toes are down but pulling it towards you. And then go ahead and feel your hip in space to make sure that the hips are somewhat in line. Inhaling and exhaling to settle in. With your next inhale, reach out with your left arm, keeping the gaze steady, feeling the core engage in this pose. Breathing into the posture, feeling the strength of your body. One more breath here. And now with your exhale, turn your toes out to the right, and now sweep your foot to the right as your arm comes to the left. Staying strong and steady through the core, connect with your breath. Keep the legs lifted, hips working to be level. One more breath. And then bring the arm and the foot back in. Place the hand and the knee down. And feel free to just shift side to side a little bit if you need to. And then let's realign ourselves. Starfish hands under shoulders. Inhale, and as you exhale, send that left foot back. pressing through that back heel, flexing the foot. Toes are pulling towards your nose. Inhaling and exhale. Again, feel free to check that hip in space to make sure that the hips are level. We want to stay strong across the back. One thing that can kind of happen is sometimes we can sag down, and that's no good. So we want to keep strong across the back of the shoulders and keeping that neck extending long. Beautiful. Now inhale, reach the opposite arm out. The arm is still plugged into the shoulder while the fingertips are reaching forward, and that foot is pressing back through the heel. Take 2 more breaths here. Feeling your core engage. And then in your next inhale, turn your toes to the left. And exhale, sweep the foot to the left, arm to the right. Holding that balance, feeling the core engage. Beautiful strength here. 2 more breaths. And inhale to bring back to center and lower the hands and the knees. And that could be a lot of pressure on the wrist, so feel free to sit back and maybe do a couple hand pumps and shake it out. And then we can remove this blanket temporarily, but have it close by because we'll use it again if you like that for your knees. In this table position, walk your fingertips about 1 palm's width forward, and the pinkies are closer to the edge of the mat. We're prepping for downward dog. So bringing your knees under your hips. Now again, press into that L shape of your hand into the mat firmly, and press the pinky into the mat, all 10 knuckles, so you feel that slight space in the center of your palm. Tuck your toes, feel your triceps draw back as your biceps roll forward a little bit, and a micro bend in the elbows. Tuck the toes, inhale, with an exhale, lift your hips up and back, coming into downward facing dog. And we're warming up here, so pedal out the pedal out the feet, and maybe you want to shift from side to side. Find some movement that feels good in your body. And then bringing the ears in line with the biceps, really press that mat away from you. Inhaling and exhaling. Let's take 1 more deep breath here in our downward facing dog. And with an exhale, bring the knees down to the mat just to kiss. And then inhale, bring the legs back up to downward dog. Inhale up high on the toes. Exhale, knees to the mat just slightly. And then use your core to bring the hips back up, heels lower. Let's do 1 more. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, knees just to touch. Inhale, and then exhale, hips back high into our downward facing dog. Beautiful. And feel free to pedal it out again if you'd like to. And then inhale as you exhale, come forward, bringing the knees down. And you can stay in the same position on your mat. I'm going to turn to the side so it'll be a little bit easier for you to see where we're going. Coming to your knees, and as I was saying, you might like to have a blanket to rest your knees on. A little cushion never hurt anybody. Roll the shoulders back and down. So the shoulders are over the knees. And let's bring that right leg out to the side, coming into gate pose. So setting up for proper alignment, the knee is in line with the hip. And on the extended leg, you could intersect a line could intersect the arch of your foot from the front of your knee if you needed to. And toes are facing forward. If that doesn't feel good, you can also prop up on that heel. Just make sure your knee is facing the same direction as your toes. In gate pose, we want to work to keep the hips forward. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, let the shoulders settle. Inhale, arms up, and exhale, side bend over to the right. The right arm can come anywhere across the leg. You may also like to reach down with your right arm while your left arm reaches up, feeling that opposition working. And even though we're in a side bend, we want to stay long through both sides of the torso. Maybe your gaze comes up. If that's not comfortable on your neck, you can also gaze down or just straight ahead. And with your next exhale, see if you can maybe come a couple inches deeper into the stretch, listening to your body, of course. Inhale all the way back up. Exhale, cactus the arms, lift the heart. Inhale up. Exhale, cactus or prana mudra. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, let it go. Inhale, hands together and down to heart center. Let's do that on the other side. Remembering our alignment cues, setting up our knees and our foot, whether your toes are forward or propped up. Remember to be mindful of the direction that knee. It should match the same direction of the toes. Inhale, reach the arms up, and exhale, side bend over to the left. Really feeling that space between the low rib and the hip open up. You can reach down with that bottom arm or maybe extend it across the leg. Inhale to expand and exhale, maybe to deepen. And if it feels good on your neck, you can gaze up or forward is wonderful too. And inhale, arms up. Exhale, cactus those arms, lift through the heart. Inhale, up. Exhale, prana mudra. One more time. Inhale. This time, cactus, hold that prana mudra and feel the stillness. Feel the breath move. Inhale, arms rise up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Draw that knee in. And then turn, or you should already be facing the front of your mat. I'm just turning again. So on our knees, trying to keep a nice alignment, we're going to come into a 90-90 lunge. So taking your right foot in front of you and having the knee line up so that it is over the foot creates a little 90-degree angle. And we're going for 90-ish. Do your best here. Everybody's body's different, so don't think that it has to be perfectly 90 degrees. Listen to your body and go for as close as you can. So forming that 90-degree angle with the back leg and the front leg, inhale, reaching your arms up, and as we exhale, twist to the right. So turn from the low belly, and then exhale to open up the arms, shining the palms. I'm lifting tall through my crown. I'm working to keep my hips forward and breathing, of course. Finding the movement of breath within the stillness. Inhale, arms up, and exhale, forward. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, turn the torso to the left. Exhale, open up those arms. Maybe gaze over your back finger or shine the palms forward. Keeping a slight micro bend in the elbows. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit of opening in the hip flexor as well as across the shoulders and the chest. Let's inhale forward. And exhale, hands to heart center. Great, let's switch sides. This time bringing the left knee forward, right knee stays down. And going for that 90-ish degree angle in the legs. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, keeping the hands together overhead, turn from the torso, and then open up the arms, looking over your back arm. You have the option to shine the palms forward if that feels better, and breathe. Thinking about those hips working forward. Thinking about staying long and tall through your spine. And your next inhale, bring the arms forward, turn forward. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, twist to the right. Being mindful of where you may have shifted in your alignment. Staying tall through the crown, grounding down through the knee. Hips working towards the front edge of the mat. Feel your heart lifting as you breathe. And inhale, arms forward, and they can come down. Bring your knees down to the earth. And go ahead and take a nice wide Bhaktasana devotional pose, or you could do child pose if that feels better. But let's walk the palms forward, and with cupcake fingers, or I like to call them teepee fingers, sit your hips back. And you can rest your head on a block here. Your forehead can float if that feels good, or you can bring your forehead right down. And since this is a bit of active pressure in the fingers, try to draw the shoulders down with gentle pressure. And inhale, come on up. Go ahead, if you're using your blanket, set it off to the side and come back to table position, feeling warmed up. Hands in starfish position underneath the shoulders. Knees are under the hips, tuck the toes. And again, let's walk the palms about one palm's length forward, pressing into all 10 knuckles, especially that L shape of the inner palm. Tuck the toes. Press into the toes as you lift the hips, pressing the mat forward with your hands, and almost like you're trying to tear your mat in two with your hands and your feet. Your ears will fall between your biceps. And breathe. Feel free to pedal if you need to. We're going to find some movement here. So inhale, lift the right leg high. Exhale, draw the right knee to the right elbow. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, draw the right knee to the left elbow. Inhale, leg high. Listen carefully, hold for a breath. Now turn the foot out to the right, and then as you exhale, kick that foot out to the right. Equal pressure in the palms. Feel strength in your core and your shoulders. Breathe. We've got 3 breaths here. The body is strong. You may feel some shaking, and that's good. And inhale, draw the leg back in and lower down. Feel free to pedal out there just for 1 breath. Inhale, with an exhale, shift your hips forward as we come into plank. Take a breath. Settle in. Strong across the shoulders. Puffing up that little space between your shoulder blades or your wing bones. And now let's place the right hand in the center of your mat. Keeping both hands on the mat, rotate your hips. You can bring your bottom knee down, or you can keep your feet extended. We're coming into Vashisthasana, side plank. So open up with that left arm reaching high. The hips are lifting high, and you'll notice my bottom arm is not directly under my shoulder, but slightly in front of it, and that protects that joint, the shoulder joint. You can look up at your palm and smile. Or you can keep your gaze forward or maybe down at the floor. You decide what works for you. And now inhale, let's find some movement. Exhale, keep the hips lifted high as you reach under. 2 more times, move with your breath. Inhale. And exhale, under. 1 more time, stay with your breath. And then thread that needle. Inhale, arm reaches up. Let's rotate back forward into plank. Shift the body forward. Elbows stay back. And you can drop to your knees if that suits you. And lower down onto your belly. Lift the feet so that the tops of the feet are on the earth. Pressing into the earth, feel the thigh bones engaged and the pubic bone pressing into the earth. Roll the shoulders back and down. Elbows are reaching towards each other. Inhale as you lift through the heart. Stay out of the low back and extend long through the back of the neck. And exhale, lower down. Let's do that again. Inhale, reaching up. You're light through the hands. Feel free to float them. And exhale, lower down. 1 more time. Inhale, feel the heart expand. And exhale, lower down. Inhale, press up through table. And go ahead and sit back for a child's pose. Beautiful. Come back to that table position with your hands slightly forward, pinky towards the edge of the mat. Tuck your toes. We're going to do that again on the other side. Inhale, and with an exhale, draw the belly in to pull the hips up to the ceiling, just like someone has a string attached around your hips and are pulling you in, up, and back. Breathe here, and this time left leg lifts. Inhale, leg high. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, leg high. Exhale, knee to opposite elbow. Keeping those shoulders over the hands. Inhale, lift high. And this time, turn the foot out to the right, keeping the shoulders square, equal pressure in the hands. With your exhale, kick the foot forward. Hello, glutes. Hello, legs. Hello, breath. Breathing through this, strengthening the body. 1 more breath. Take an inhale. Exhale, draws the leg back in and lower the foot. Again, feel free to pedal it out quickly there if you need to. And inhale forward, coming to that plank position. And this time, we're going to bring the left hand in towards center. Rotate the feet over to the right. Toes are pointing towards the right. And you can lower that bottom knee if that's in your practice, or you can stay with the legs lifted and open up into a beautiful side plank. Keeping the hips lifted engages this underside of the core, working the obliques. Being mindful of your shoulder girdle, pressing into all the knuckles of the hand. Let's find some movement. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hips lift as we reach under. Move with your breath. Inhale up. Exhale, reach. 1 more time. And thread that needle. Inhale, arm high. Exhale, rotating back to plank. If chaturanga is in your practice, go for it. You can also come through table. Dropping your knees is an option. Inhale, slightly forward. Exhale, elbows hug the ribs. And release the tops of those feet. Draw the shoulders back and down. Elbows reaching, working towards each other. Inhale, lift the heart coming into cobra. And exhale, lower down. Option to tent the fingers. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, lower down. One more time. Inhale. Extending up through that neck and the back of the neck. And lower down. Press through the hands to sit back into your child's pose or Bhaktasana and take a breath. Feel that energy that you have created and loosened up through your body. Wonderful. You can walk your hands back. And again, here's my invitation for the blanket, as we'll be kneeling for a little while. So grab your blanket or your towel or whatever you're using. And bring your knees under your hips. This is a great opportunity to use the blocks, or if you're using a water bottle or a jar or whatever might work for you. We're gonna work our way into camel. So a beautiful heart opener. If you do have blocks, I'm trying to give you mine, I guess. You can place them between your heels, or even a book between your heels can be nice. Or if you're using jars or water bottles, you may like to set them more in the vertical position as you reach back. That might be nice. So find what works for you, but just a couple options there. And maybe you want no blocks. That's cool too. So roll the shoulders back. Draw the low belly in slightly. We're open across the collarbone, not forcing anything, just aware of our openness. And the chin is slightly tucked. And let's bring our hands to our low back. And the fingertips are pointing down, and the palms of our hands are just above the sacrum. The elbows are reaching back towards each other, so squeezing the elbows towards each other. Let's inhale and just slightly lift the heart and look up. Again, feeling that lift through the upper back and the heart, staying out of the low back. Another little trick someone taught me was you could hold your ribs and feel your ribs lifting to lift the heart versus feeling the bend in the low back. So just a little tip. And now staying here with the next inhale, reach your right arm up as your gaze comes up towards your hand. Stay for 3 breaths. Let your next exhale find your hand back to your low back, and we'll switch sides. Elbows working towards each other. Inhale. And let's move our heart, move our lungs with our breath. Let your next exhale bring your hand back to your low back. And just shake your arms out. You can maybe tip your head forward and back. Maybe turn it side to side, what might feel good to you. And now you have those options. You can stay in that baby camel, half camel if that felt good, or you can come into camel. So keeping the knees energetically working towards each other, that's where squeezing that block with the heels can be helpful, or book if you have a book. Roll the shoulders back, bring the hands to just above the sacrum. Elbows are working towards each other. Inhale to lift the heart, and ever so slowly begin to walk your hands back to a place that feels good for you. Maybe the block, maybe your heels, and lift up through the heart. And if it feels good, you can bring your head slightly back, keeping the chin lifted. Maybe you feel better with your chin tucked. Breathe. Keeping those legs squeezing towards each other, heels squeezing towards each other. One more breath. And now slowly walk your hands back up above your sacrum and lower your hands down. You can remove a block if you're using it, setting it towards the front of your mat. And let's just get a little counter pose into that camel. So let's find our cat position, pressing into our hands and puffing up the space around our shoulders, dropping our tailbone. And now inhale, lift the heart, lift the tailbone. Exhale, rounding the spine. Inhale, lower the belly, lift the chin. And one more time, pressing into those hands, feeling that beautiful stretch along the spine. And then coming back to table in neutral. If you're using that blanket, you can go ahead and set it aside. Returning to table position. We're going to come to downward facing dog. So tucking the toes, lifting the hips. Find your down dog. And feel the tricep heads rolling back as the bicep heads roll forward. All 10 knuckles are really pressing into the earth here. And then lift up on the toes and settle the heels back. With your breath, inhale the lift. And exhale, lower. One more time. And now let your gaze come to the front of the mat as you begin to walk your feet slowly towards the front of your mat, keeping a micro bend in the knees, or you can bend them even as much as you need to. Let's inhale, reaching the arms up, and let the palms touch overhead. Shoulders are relaxed down. Inhale, and as you exhale, twist to the right, opening up the arms. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist in the opposite direction. And remember to move the belly first. Do that again. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, forward. And exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, hands forward. Exhale, draw your hands to heart center. Close your eyes, and here we are. Just be. Feel the stillness within. Feel the movement of the heart beating. The movement of the breath, the energy that you are creating and flowing in your body. And open your eyes if you've closed them. You can stay at the front of your mat. Let's turn towards the side of our mat here. So on your mat, you'll have the right and the left. So facing the wide edge of the mat. Roll the shoulders back and feel the feet really grounded into the earth. In fact, lift your toes up and feel the point of your heel firmly rooted in the earth and the toe mounds underneath the big toe and underneath the pinky toes grounded. Ever so slowly spread your toes and then begin to touch pinky toe, toe number 4, toe number 3, toe number 2, and then toe number 1. So you feel equally balanced and the weight distributed in your feet. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands through heart center, Uttanasana, forward bend. Inhale, hands can come to the shins or the earth for a halfway lift, staying long through the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift, shoulders down the back. And exhale, fold. Now, bringing your fingers to the earth, or bend your knees as much as you need to bring your fingers to the earth. Sit the hips back, being mindful that the knees don't come past the toes. Feel the weight moving more towards your heels, and then hover the fingers. And notice as you do so, your core turns on. There's a slight tuck of the tail, and begin to just let those arms hover. We're coming into Utkatasana, chair pose. You can keep your hands on your hips or inhale, shoulder height with the arms or overhead. Inhale, extending the arms. Now let's exhale, come forward, extending the arms back, straightening the legs. Use your core. Inhale, bend the knees, coming back to chair. And exhale, straighten the legs, fold. One more time. Inhale. And exhale, fold. Inhale, come to that chair pose, tucking the low belly in. Just take a peek down, make sure your knees are not past your toes, shoulders away from your ears. Feel the strength in your legs. Feel the stillness. Feel the heat building. And feel the breath moving. One more deep breath. And exhale, hands to heart center. Beautiful. Feel the energy you're creating within your body. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands to your sides. Let's widen our stance and turn your toes out so your knees want to track in the same direction as your feet to protect your knees. We're going to come into a shooting star. So to begin, let's bend our knees and bring your hands to heart center in a little goddess type pose. Shoulders are back and down, chest is open. Inhale, and as you exhale, shift your weight off to the right. And you can almost launch off your back foot, or you can slide it in, pick a drishti or a focus point, and lift that back leg up. Option to open up. Staying lifted out of the hip of the grounded leg. Pressing through the lifted heel and breathing. 2 more breaths. Now, draw your hands into your heart and ever so slowly and gracefully set your foot back down on the earth. And if it wasn't graceful, that's cool too. And finding ourselves in this goddess stance, let's inhale to reach up, straightening the legs, and exhale, cactus arms. Let's add a little lion's breath. Inhale, reach the arms up long. Exhale, stick your tongue out. Inhale, reach up. Exhale. One more time. Reaching the arms up and exhale, coming back into that goddess pose. These strong cactus arms, this prana mudra, feeling the energy around your hands, feeling the energy you're generating in your legs, pushing the feet into the earth so you are strong and stable. Breathe through the nose and mouth. You can also channel your Ujjayi breath here, the ocean sounding breath. Draw your hands to heart center and begin to shift your weight over to the left this time. Again, you can launch off or take a step, but first let's pick a drishti and lift that back leg up, pressing through the heel. And you can open up those arms, staying lifted out of that hip that is supporting you, feeling the core engage, and breathing. Finding the stillness, finding the balance. One more breath. And ever so slowly, hands to heart center, coming back to that goddess pose. Let's inhale, arms reach up, and exhale, press yourself up to stand. Toes come forward, and let's take an inhale. And just to release, let's exhale, wide-legged forward fold. Your hands can come to a block, a water bottle, or if your hands are on the earth, you can bend your knees or keep them straight, depending on
your flexibility, and it feels so nice to just release, shaking the head no and maybe yes.
Inhale to halfway lift. Walk your hands and turn your feet towards the front edge of your mat. Step to the front of your mat. Bend the knees slightly and big arms sweep you up, and hands to heart center. Breathe, close your eyes, and find gratitude in this energy you're creating. Take a look down at your feet and let's assure that they are under your hips. Hands to heart. Inhale. As you exhale, step the right leg back, coming into a crescent lunge or Anjaneyasana. And we're pressing our weight back into the back heel, and we're very mindful that that front knee is over the front ankle. Inhale to reach your arms up, and maybe look up. And now that front heel is really pressing into the earth and almost pulling back, while the back hip is almost working forward. So you're working in those opposing directions to really scissor the legs together and engage them. Beautiful. From here, we're going to move. Inhale, and as you exhale, tip your weight forward, bringing your weight to your front foot, and feel the back leg lift off and hover as we come into Warrior 3 with airplane arms. Inhale, ever so slowly, land that back foot, reaching up. Exhale, draw the arms back as you shift your weight forward, coming to Warrior 3, feeling the flying sensation. Inhale. Last time. Exhale. A drishti is very helpful here. Now stay with me. Hold this for 2 more breaths. Staying lifted out of that hip that is supporting you by engaging the core. Now, keeping that leg lifted up, draw it through, bending the right knee in front of you, drawing hands to heart center. Keeping that focal point. You can stay here or lift the knee and grab the right toe with the right fingers. Making sure not to hike your right hip up, but working to keep it in line with your left hip. Now inhale, you can stay here, exhale, or bring the foot forward, pressing it forward, just as if you were standing on the earth. And this leg is coming to straight-ish. You can see I have a bend in my knee. That's my limit today. And just the way we came in, we are going to slowly draw the foot back and exhale. Coming into Tadasana, feel free to shake your feet out at all if you need to. And inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. We've got one more side. So inhale, and with an exhale, step your left foot back, coming into Anjaneyasana. And maybe check to make sure your feet are in their own lanes. That can be helpful. And keeping those hips working towards the front of the mat. Shoulders back and down. Inhale, reaching those arms up. Again, that front heel is pressing into the earth and almost pulling back to plug that left thigh bone into the left hip bone. Scissoring the legs together, find your drishti, and as you exhale, tip your weight forward, lifting that back heel up, arms come behind you. And we move. Inhale, crescent. Exhale, use the strength in your leg. Use your core. If you wobble, it's okay. I'm wobbling. It happens. And inhale, crescent, moving slowly, letting the muscles engage.
And exhale, find your drishti. Warrior 3 with airplane arms. Press through that back heel, lifting through that standing hip. One more breath. And then draw that standing leg, or that lifted leg through, bringing the knee in front, hands to heart center. Focal point, very helpful. Abdominals engaged, very helpful. And you can stay here, or you can reach down and grab your toe. And again, be mindful of that hip not hiking too high. I was just trying to over-exaggerate and lost it there. But keeping the hips as level as possible. Now, if you would like to come further, you can press that foot out in front of you, straightish, keeping a micro bend in the knee. Check your hip. Did it hike up? Can you lower it back down and level? Hello, hamstrings. And be strong through the lifted leg, just like you're standing on that foot. And let's draw that knee slowly back in and place the foot on the earth and shake it out. Let's just find a couple nice sways here, loosening up any tension that may be in the feet, the hips, and releasing the shoulders. We're going to come down to Malasana, and you can stay at the front edge of your mat. I'm going to come to the edge of my mat so you can see better. Just kind of sway your hips side to side as you come down to the earth. And now, for me lately, my ankles have been really tight, so a blanket's really helpful for me here. But we want to just, if your heels don't touch the earth, that's okay if you don't have a blanket, but if you want to tuck a blanket underneath, it just gives a little bit of more groundedness in Malasana, a little yogi squat here. So staying engaged, pulling the belly in and up, lifting through the heart, and the hands come in front and on the inside of the legs. You want to feel a little bit of pressure, the elbow to the knee to the elbow. Now let's root our right hand down, take an inhale, and as you exhale, lift up with that left arm for a nice stretch. 2 more breaths. Inhale back to center. Let's switch sides, bringing that left arm and really almost like hooking it in the inside of that leg. Turn from the belly as you inhale, reaching up, and exhale to twist slightly. You may feel this in your chest muscles. You may feel it along the spine. Find the movement in your breath here. Create the stillness within the stretch. And inhale back to center. You can remove that blanket if you were using it. And bring the toes forward rather than turning out. Hands come in front of you. Inhale, and as you exhale, let's do a nice wide-legged Uttanasana, forward bend. And this is your chance to let it go. Let the shoulders go. Maybe you grab opposite elbows and sway a little bit. That might feel good. Everybody's different. Just explore what your body needs right now. And inhale to a halfway lift. Again, you can use a block if that's helpful for you. And we are going to walk our hands over to the right side. Feeling a nice stretch. Feel free to bend that knee slightly so we're not locking out the knee. And you might feel a stretch through the outer leg here. And exhale, walk your hands over to the opposite side and push your left foot into the earth. You'll really feel the muscles engage and light up a little bit. And
come back to center and lower your hips down. And I'm going to go back towards the front of my mat where hopefully you all are. And now's the time to grab that strap. And if you don't have a strap, there's no worries here. This is just kind of what I feel is a fun way to do boat. So wrap the strap around the balls of your feet, so underneath the toes, and find some tension there. And you might even just want to play a little bit. If you rock all the way back, it's no big deal. It happens. We're going to find our balance here. So find that pressure where you can press your feet into the belt or the strap. Roll your shoulders back so your heart's lifted, and your tailbone is a little bit tucked here. Not a lot, but a little bit. And we're drawing the belly in so the abdominals are really strong here. You can stay here. Your option is to bring the straps together, hold them in your right hand, inhale, and just have fun with this. Twist from the belly and try to lift your heart, pressing into those toes, and reaching back. Let's breathe. Last breath here. And coming back to center, finding that balance, pressing the feet into the strap, pulling, finding the resistance and balance. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, open up to the opposite side. Whew. Feel that rotation from the belly rather than the shoulders. And your gaze can come all the way to your hand, or as I'm doing, just looking towards the back of the room. One more breath. And an inhale brings you back to center, lower down. And we're all set with that strap. You can go ahead and set that down. And scoot your buns just a little bit forward, roll the shoulders back, and use your abdominal muscles to slowly lower yourself down. Yes. Feels good. And just hug your knees in. Rock side to side. Place your feet on the floor and extend your legs out in front of you. You're going to take your hands palms face down and slide them underneath your butt. And roll your shoulders back. Feel your forearms and your elbows press strongly into the earth. The feet are flexed. Now inhale to lift your heart by pressing into the elbows and the forearms. Keep your chin tucked. If it feels good, you can have your head gently rest on the floor. This is fish, Matsyendrasana. Just a nice little counter pose to open up the heart from that work we've done today. To come out of this pose, open up the angle in your elbow to lower down. Draw the feet in, release your hands. Inhale, extend both feet up to the ceiling. Bring your right leg and cross it over your left. And then bend your knees, and you may reach your hands to your knees or your shins, and some of you may reach your ankles or your feet. But just draw the knees in towards the chest as your tailbone draws down towards the earth, and feel your spine nice and long. So the back of the neck is long. And from the tip of the head to the tailbone, we're going for a straight line. From here, release your hands. Keep your knees bent. Inhale, and as you exhale, drop your hips over to the right side. And we're going to be opening up that left hip, feeling the weight of that top leg. You can also use your hand to press down if you'd like a little more. And you might want to look over your left shoulder.
and bring the head back, and then in reverse motion, bring the knees back. Let's lift. Make sure we're centered with our hips, and then lift the legs back up again. And this time, the left leg crosses over the right. Let's bend those knees and hug our knees, shins, or shins in towards the chest as the tailbone lengthens down with the long spine. And then release your hands, foot to the floor. And with your next exhale, go ahead and bring the knees, drop them down to the left. You can inhale and exhale, look in the opposite direction, and maybe bring that top knee down if you need a little more pressure to feel that release. And knees come back to center and cross your legs. Find any last movements. You might like to hug the knees in. If happy baby is calling you, maybe just rocking side to side. Just take a moment to find what your body needs. You can come to supine baddha konasana. And then give yourself a little squeeze and lower those legs down, touching the heels to the earth. Shoulders back and down. The neck is long. Letting your body feel heavy against the floor. Feeling the stillness now in your body. And yet how the stillness is guided by the movement of your breath. Relaxing the jaw. Feeling the space between your ears and your shoulders as the shoulders release. Hips release. The backs of the legs are heavy. And the toes are just falling open gently. And let your breath travel deep into your belly. And you are welcome to stay in your Shavasana as long as you like. It's one of the benefits of practicing at home. Or you can slowly make your way to a seated position of your choice. Holding on to that stillness. Holding on to the movement of your breath.
hands to heart center. The stillness and the peace and the joy within me honors the peace and the stillness and the joy in you. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.